It's me, Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, and it is about 4 o'clock on November 30th, 2021. Um, I just wanted to make an update video on YouTube today, because I haven't made a video on YouTube in a while, especially with the announcement of Omicron, so close to Christmas and so obviously, I mean, just right, obviously, just it's not. They haven't isolated the first thing at all. So, why would they be able to say, "Oh, well, yeah, this is definitely coming to America," blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, we all know, right? But I wanted to talk about something I heard on the Stu Peters show, and I really recommend the Stu Peters show. And I recommend looking up Dr. David Martin. There's a bunch of other people that I want to recommend, but I can't think of them right now. But a lady on the Stu Peters show, and she's somebody who's been reporting the VAERS data and everything for a long time. She was saying that reporting on the children being mandated to get jabbed, and then voluntary jabbing, that parents can bring their kids to. She was saying that the group that was at the most high risk in children really from the age of like 2 to 15 or whatever, and this would be in older groups too, or ones with pre-existing conditions or autoimmune disorders, right? And I started crying because like I was a child with an autoimmune disorder. I have Crohn's disease. And I was just thinking about how much trouble that gave me, and even kids without autoimmune disorders could, what the jab is doing could create those, and so it's a very very that's a everything about this is just wow. How is this even happening? How aren't we all just like saying no? Which a lot of people are fighting back, but it's still like some people still live in a reality where, oh, no, the authority would never do that, right? And a ton of people live in that reality, um, which is insane. But I wanted to talk about that because even in older populations where it's like the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions and autoimmune disorders really need to go ahead and get this jab, right? And so we're seeing what's happening to them. They're at higher risk for bad side effects and death. And so this carries with it. And I think I just want to go over this point and make it kind of a short update. I'm trying not to say words that will get this video taken down, and I want to make a YouTube video, right? Um, so so I wanted to go over this point in that it's obviously a eugenics. There's a eugenics angle to this, right? Now, eugenics as defined, I don't want to do the definition, but we understand the New World Order, survival of the fittest, the strongest genetics. If something's messed up with you, then you're weak and you need to be thrown away. That's like the modern definition of eugenics. And I kind of want to say that is a satanic lie, because people who are sick or are going through something have to be extra strong. They show this to people who do not have those like diseases or whatever they're going through, and it makes the whole species stronger, right? Plus resistance from people going through things when they're sick or whatever. It builds on God's evolution, right? So I just see this as a very dangerous thing, and that the eugenics that the evil New World Order believes in, or Masonry, or these groups, is really a lie, and it will stagnate the human species, what they're doing. So I just wanted to say that, and it's a really hard thing. I have a lot that I want to speak out on, guys, but right now I'm kind of just trying to watch, get my head together, right? Because I was fighting this for the last 2 years, 2019 to 2021 or 2018 or whatever, just ripping myself apart because we were going to stop this, right? Now, let me tell you something maybe you didn't think of. Maybe a lot of y'all have thought of this. We did it. Like, we actually did it. Now, let me explain that to you. We got the information that citizens were being targeted with microwave weapons in the United States to the Senate, to every state senator, not just the Senate Intelligence Committee that works on these issues with these weapons or whatever, but to all state senators. We had every TI from every state sending thousands of letters to all those senators. Every senator in there knows it. Probably some TIs from around the world were helping out, sending emails to state senators. So we did it. We actually got this information to the highest lawmaking body in the United States, right? And I was talking to my dad about this, and I was like comparing it to that movie Escape from L.A. I hate holding this tablet while I'm doing this. Let me try not to get off track because I just kind of want to keep this short and just say, hey, I'm hanging in there. It's insane, like the targeting on top of like, hey, now you got to survive in this asymmetrical warfare, which I'm gonna make a nobody steal it. No, I'm not even gonna tell you what I'm gonna make a video on, but it's gonna be really good. Oh, I forgot what I was talking about, guys. What was I talking about? The eugenics thing, and then I was saying we did this. So okay, we got it into the Senate, the highest lawmaking body of the land. They put legislation out, the Havana Act, helping American victims against neurological attacks. Right. So this is like massive awareness now, and then. But no senators talking about it right now. Maybe there are some on Twitter and things like that, but they're not standing up doing any Senate Intelligence Committees because they're told not to. They're told this is national security and they can't touch it. This is what I imagine. Well, let me give the movie metaphor first. So if you guys, if you men and women have ever seen Escape from L.A., where Snake Plissken, he's going and this terrorist basically just controls Los Angeles. And he meets up with the terrorist group, and the terrorist makes him like shoot a basketball. Right? He has to do layups and go from one basket to the other basket and do 10 baskets right in a certain amount of time, which gets really hard. He gets tired, and then at the last one, he's made 9 shots. The clock's running down. He's going to have to chunk it across the court. And slammed, and it goes in, all nothing but net, right? So he did it. He did that impossible thing. That's how I see us. Like we were, being tortured and microwaved and everything, but we kept fighting, and we got senators to know about it. We made them aware of it, sent in letters. Havana syndrome was talked about, and we're using that and what the UN saying and everything. And it's so hard. Time's about to run out. Nothing but net. The Senate's got it. The Senate does legislation. Every state senator has thousands of letters from citizens who are being microwaved, and none of them say anything. Just like Snake Plissken, he made that basket, and then the terrorist was like, shoot him anyway. I just thought I'd mention that. I thought I'd mention that because it's like, and this is just me, right? This is just me. Like whatever mission God's given you, if it's to do activism right now and to stay on course, it's to stay on course, right? And I think anything that any target individual is doing is great. But the way I'm seeing it is the field is completely changed, not only because the Senate completely knows about this and is keeping their mouth shut, so it's like, what's activism really going to do at this point? There's solutions. There's solutions and things to come. I'm just thinking out loud. But it's like, and then also you got the thing, and I think I've said this on other videos, but you've got right out in the open jab, death numbers being, hidden right out in broad daylight, right? And people, the news just not reporting it. Does it seem familiar? Does it seem familiar? People have gotten used to this, hiding a bunch of deaths and torture out of sight, out of mind, right? So I'm thinking getting closer to God, and let me tell you what, we're getting attacked, asymmetrically attacked by a pretty big fish, right? But always remember, there is always a bigger fish, and the biggest fish is God, and He's not a cruel, evil, new minion of the New World Order. I think that's all. It's all pretty much all I wanted to talk about. But so I just wanted to kind of let y'all know what I'm doing, what I'm working on. I wanted to say this too. We really need to keep our eye on the teams that are going against the mandate, going against the jab in general, and watch where they're making their shots, right? And I see them making their shots at state Supreme Court. So a lot of targeted individuals may have already been doing this. You may have already been putting in affidavits to state Supreme Courts. But you see, we've kind of tried to come up from a grassroots activism, awareness, videos, putting the word out on the street and everything. That's kind of coming from a bottom level. Then we've gotten to the top, the Senate, right, the top lawmaking body of the United States, and this is kind of, I guess other countries have done similar things like this. But what I'm seeing at these people against the jab are doing is they're starting kind of in the middle, right? Because a lot of the higher systems, which we've just seen as targeted individuals, the Senate is captured, right? A lot of the lobbyists are these huge contractors, right? And pharmaceutical companies that are involved in our targeting too. But not only that, a national security issue. They've got lockdowns in place, and I'm not talking about being locked down in the home. They've got locks in place, system locks to keep this information from getting out, or to keep a senator from like just stepping up and talking about it, right? Like in the way that we need them to as citizens, opening the whole Pandora's box, right? I think it's already been opened by what's happening in the world, but how that's gonna progress and how God's gonna weave his strands through that, I don't know. You just gotta trust God, right? This is just me thinking things through and saying things about what I'm seeing. But yeah, I'm kind of, my memory's kind of crapping out on this video. I just wanted to talk about those things. It's very dangerous because the type of eugenics that the upper cabal like adheres to makes society weak. There's a reason. There's a reason to protect each other, and there's a reason to protect the weak. That God knows, right? The God that made us in His image and is a way bigger fish. Like, you want to think about what's on this world, and you can just call it Satan. It's a whale. It's a whale, and it's doing asymmetrical warfare on us. But then think about like the biggest prehistoric, like mastodon, what's under the water in prehistoric times, but like way smarter than a whale. That's what we're dealing with God, and even bigger, because I see God, I see a chain of command up to God. So I'm seeing even just the first step of the chain of command is a huge mastodon, and then actual God is like just, he is everything. Trying to think of what else. I guess that's all. I guess I wanted to kind of keep this short and just tell y'all, okay, so this is kind of at the end, so I guess it's kind of a housekeeping thing, but BitChute, I can only put 15-minute videos up on there, so I'm going to try and do like important things, tidbits that I want to put up, and then on Odyssey, I'm going to put my long form, like uncensored, where I just say whatever, can just say whatever words I want, right? I've had to watch my words carefully, and I'm not even sure if this is okay for YouTube, right? But I did want to do an update for YouTube for anybody who just sees me on there. Please subscribe to Vulcan Wolverine YouTube, Vulcan Wolverine BitChute, and Vulcan Wolverine Odyssey. I probably won't be just pounding out the videos, right, on a consistent schedule, but I want to leave the lines of communication open. So if I have important information, solutions, things that I'm thinking of, things that God wants me to, put out on a video, I can. I'm going to have to work on, I won't go through the whole thing, but my communications are like way disrupted. And it's going to hurt me because I'm going to have to like try and find something to work online too. So I think what I'm going to do is shoot for around Christmas, maybe get a new computer. I didn't really rush on it and really hang on my mom to get me a new computer immediately, because when that communication thing happened, I started kind of just quieting my mind down, and I had less input, right? And I was just getting closer to God, and better ideas started formulating. I started being able to handle my targeting a little bit better. Too. I think I'd put, because I was going the last 2 years, it was just like, I'll destroy myself because we've got this, because the Senate's going to fix this, because adults are going to fix this, right? And I had no clue, no conscious clue at least, I'll just say that, consciously I was like, there's no way that any of this stuff that's now happening is going to happen. There's no way that can happen in the world. I think subconsciously is a different matter for me. Like subconsciously, you know, remember I keep thinking about this. How every time I'd get drunk, I would get on YouTube and sing that song. You know, I See Fire by Ed Sheeran, and I'm like, where's, you know, I like that song a lot, but there was a lot of emotion in that, and I was like, yeah, I just kind of want. I know that we're past that point, and we're dealing with what's happening in the world, and all just trying to think of, you know, what we can do to help. But we're going to have to trust in God a lot. And then you're just going to have to do whatever you can from your corner, you know, to help out. Sometimes it means just surviving. Like I've been a person that I've had a lot of extra energy in my life. And with this targeting, sometimes it's just like, I've got to get myself right. And I haven't done that even close to good while I've been fighting this, because I was just like, we're almost there, right? We're almost there. But now it's a much longer thing, maybe a shorter thing, because the way this is rolling out, we were beta testing, and now all this stuff, the directed energy weapons infrastructure is being hooked up to everybody, and they're using stuff that's in the jab to do it. It's kind of frightening that, I don't want to use those words. It's a little bit concerning that people aren't on the ball with this directed energy weapon infrastructure. And what I mean by that, well, I'm not going to go into all the details, right? But everything from satellite to microwave tower to LiDAR on helicopters to radar on military bases, right? All hooked up by satellite, right? Probably satellites within Earth's atmosphere. You know, probably not satellites that are way out in space or anything like that. I know some of you don't believe that exists, but within what I'm talking about, satellites, it would be within the dome, right? And I don't believe in flat Earth. But I know some of you guys, some of you men and women do, and I totally understand, because we're being lied to about like everything. Everything we think of, we think about everything like backwards, like eugenics, like eugenics. They're trying to make people think, well, if somebody's like perfectly healthy and has never really gone through pain or anything, and has just like then we'll keep them and get rid of somebody who maybe is missing an arm or has some kind of disease that they have to push through, right? They have to offer resistance to that resistance and then grow, and then the whole human species is better off for it. Like Nick, I can't remember his last name, but Nick Vujicic. I said his name right. He was born without arms or legs. So with the New World Order's conception of like eugenics, it would be like, oh, throw him away. He doesn't have arms or legs. Yet he's an inspirational speaker, a faith speaker. He has a wife and kids. A guy with no arms and no legs has a beautiful, happy family, and he tells people, he inspires people to be stronger, right? I mean, there's so many examples, right? Targeted individuals going through this stuff, but there's so many examples out there of people who had difficulties where eugenics, the NWO, their idea of eugenics, they would have been thrown away, but how many millions of lives, how many hundreds of thousands of lives have they changed, right, for the better? Made people who kind of maybe took their health for granted, made them feel like, wow, I need to be thankful for what I have, right? There's so many reasons that God made this world the way he did, and Satan mutilating it and changing it for his wants is just so ugly. It's an abomination. But all right, I think I want to end it there, because I'm probably going to start babbling. If not, I hope I got all the ideas. I have so much stuff that I want to talk about, so I need to write some bullet points down. I hope BitChute, I'll be able to do longer videos there, but I don't know. It's going to be just when I'm inspired, when I'm thinking good, when I'm thinking well. I really need to, and this is just, I'm just speaking for me, but maybe it speaks to some of y'all. The targeting has been this huge paradigm shift, and then this, and it's like, I just see this happening. I see this rolling out, and there's gonna, I guess I'll just say this. in the last part of this, like this targeting has gone on for so long, and it's with human operators and AI that are away from us, so they can just sit here and torture us all day long. And like at the beginning, I was coming up with an idea every day, right? And then they just keep doing it, and it's just year after year after year after year. And then eventually you're just like, wow, no, there's no help, there's no recourse. And it's like you start kind of subconsciously or conditionally saying, not every day going, oh, well, I got a solution. You're just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And it just keeps going on. And like I'm using defenses, but after like 7 years of a defense, human operators and the AI kind of figure out how to reduce its effects, right? Um, and I look at what's going on in the world, and I'm like, wow, we've got some really strong people. I'm seeing heroes and heroines step up. You guys, like, we're really fighting, but I'm like, this is a long term drag out. Trying to make people get used to, oh well, it's just like, what's a couple of million, what's 2 million deaths out of 7 billion, right? It's a small percentage, and then we get used to that, and it's like, well, what's torturing a couple of million out of there, and it's just a slippery slope of like, well, what's half of the human population? We'll still have the other half. I mean, that's where they're trying to get, right? And I just see like, I see that this is a microcosm macro. I've said this a bunch to you guys, and I think that that's a way that maybe God has simplified it for us targeted individuals out of this curse and this nightmare. God needed us here to give us the gift of how this is going to work. How this is going to work on the human species, because we're going to see a lot of getting going and fighting against this and a lot of victories, but then they're just going to be, I mean, look at what they did with Omicron. Like, oh yeah, just world announcement, and just shutting down travel, shutting down this, shutting down that, maybe Christmas. Oh yeah, we're pretty sure it's going to be in America. Well, you haven't isolated the original, obvious, like obvious. And I was talking to my dad about that. I don't know, my dad, like, he wants to believe in authority. And my PlayStation's going off. It's really like, my parents are awesome. When I was thinking in the car today, because me and my dad went and we had Thanksgiving, because my parents were in Florida for Thanksgiving, and I kind of just hung out by myself. And I was just like, yeah, we'll just go get Thanksgiving whenever. We went and had ribs at Chili's, and oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say, but oh shoot, man, it was a good point. It's something my dad said. Oh no, 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 no. I said well, I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. But I had a good lunch with my dad. No, this is what I was gonna say. I'm glad I remembered. Okay, I was driving back after having lunch with my dad, and I was thinking about him and his dad, my grandpa Sladen, who I saw in like two near-death experiences. And my dad went off to the big city. My grandpa Sladen was from DeRidder, and my dad went off to do business. And he'd come in to visit Grandpa and Grandma Sladen, right? And they didn't really understand business. I mean, my dad was in telecommunications, so I'm kind of surprised how he just can't imagine the human body. He can imagine that. Like, he can imagine the human body being an antenna. He can't imagine people torturing people for 24 hours and then never ending it and then it going through. It looks too much like mental illness to him, which, it does. It's supposed to look like mental illness. It's not mental illness, but that's what it would look like to somebody who's not sure. It's even more tragic though, because he is targeted. But I was thinking about it. Okay, and I got way far off, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, he shouldn't even have to deal with any of this stuff. With new technology, it's never been like that. The older generation has always been kind of like take this for instance. If it was a different world and it was a benign world where these technologies were coming out, but it was to the good of mankind, the benefit of mankind, good. We could cure mental illness, you could cure depression, I mean, just, you could make things so super safe. But it's like, say I had a job with some neurotechnology or something like that, and electromagnetic frequencies working with the brain and stuff. And I went to my dad and I said, I got this job and I'm working with, it's stuff you wouldn't understand. It's like neurotechnology and stuff like that. I'm making good money. He'd be like, well, that's new. That's exponentially new, right? Because that was kind of how his grandpa and he were when when he went to the big city to do business. But this is something totally different. It's like, oh, there's all this exponentially new stuff that's being hidden, and I'm being murdered by it, right? And so he shouldn't have to deal with any of this new stuff. He's lived his life. He's raised me. There shouldn't be any of this kind of stuff. I was just kind of thinking about that. It's like how it's gone for generations before, but now it's like there's stuff that's like torturing and killing, and people just can't imagine it. I don't see why we're so surprised that people can't imagine it. I don't know how much I would understand if I wasn't a targeted individual. I think that people who do see the truth, we have these pathways through life where we see it. But if you don't go searching for information, like if you don't go online and search for information and you're just watching mainstream media, boy, you're going to believe in a false reality, right? But I guess going off and checking it, double checking what they're saying is part of being smart, It's obviously what's part of being smart. All right, guys, more to come later. Oh, I just spittled. Sorry about that. All right, I love you guys. I hope y'all are doing okay. I'll just, if I think of any more solutions, I'm working on some things, but it's hard getting out of this hole, and with everything going on in the world, right? I'm kind of just trying to be as patient as I can. Place some carefully placed punches, get my own mind and my own body as healthy as possible. But it's really tough. There's some times where I'm just like, I can't get my body to go anymore. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting more natural. I'll talk about that on another video. Maybe I'll just make a purely just for targeting and like what I've been doing and stuff like that on YouTube. Pretty sure my next video is going to be either a BitChute or an Odyssey, but please check those out because that's where I'm going to be doing different. And I'm not sure I'm going to put them all in like one video on every. I'm going to upload them on every channel, right? So that's kind of the best way where you can catch me, and I'll just be trying to put out as much useful information. I'm just trying to look at everything. See what we can do. I think we should go in the middle. I think that if we're going to do something where we're trying to get awareness out about this, we should still keep working with the Senate and stuff and target individuals in other countries. Y'all probably have tons of stuff y'all are working on, but I think that a smart move, because those middle state Supreme Courts, they're not as captured by national security, Great Reset, blah, 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 as higher up organizations like the Senate and then federal Supreme Courts, right? So you start in the middle, you can set precedents that then you can talk about to the Senate or federal Supreme Courts, right? So it's just maybe some targeted individuals have already been working on this for a while, but I'm thinking that's where I'm kind of headed to get my affidavit into a state Supreme Court, get my name on record, and then I guess I'll try and do some details. I don't know. Like I'm working on a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to throw that idea out, and I want to formulate more around it. And I just hope y'all are all doing really good. Just get close to God. This is a whale. This is a whale attacking us asymmetrically, asymmetrical warfare. The human species. Like if you're getting something out of this and you are working for the system, it's still working against you. Like, and the stuff that you're earning will be worth nothing because countries will just be completely like, if they get what they want, money won't be worth anything. But remember, there's always a bigger fish, and what we can compare, just the first step on the chain of command of creation all the way up to God is a mastodon, whatever those things in the water, the prehistoric fish monster things compared to a whale, where the whale's like this and the mastodon's like huge. That's like just the first step on the chain of command all the way up to God, of high resonance, of good. Satan on this earth is a big whale doing this to us, but remember there's always a bigger fish. And that is our saving grace. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll be back. There's a lot that I've wanted to talk about. I probably didn't get to a lot of it, but maybe I'll write some stuff down and just kind of tell y'all what I've been thinking about and stuff like that. There's been some new articles coming out and stuff too, but I think I'm gonna shoot for around Christmas for a new computer. I haven't been. I don't know if I said this. I did a video, but like my memory stuff got bad, and there was a lot of dead air. So I did it over. I'm not sure if I said a certain part, but I think I did. But I think I did. All right, guys. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one.